So in this video, we're going to be talking about Nelson Peltz, why, and is Nelson Peltz still working with Aurora, or did Nelson Peltz abandon Aurora because the stock price has declined so much in the, I guess, recent 8 months, I guess, since the news has been released. So on March 13th, 2019 at 7 a.m. Eastern, Aurora came out with some news regarding Nelson Peltz as a strategic advisor. Now, Mr. Peltz and Aurora will work collaboratively and strategically to explore potential partnership that would be optimal strategic fit for successful entry into each of Aurora's contemplated market segments. Mr. Peltz will also advise on the company's global expansion strategy. And then they paid Nelson Peltz basically an option for 20 million shares at a price of $10.34, and he's not allowed to exercise those options until the stock price has reached $31 Canadian or $41 Canadian for a specific number of trading days, until at least 7 years later of the date granted. Then he can exercise those options if Aurora ended up going nowhere within those 7 years. But I honestly believe within 7 years, the United States will be legal. The world will be legal. Well, not the world, but most of Europe will probably be legal. United States will be legal, recreational, I mean. So within 7 years, that's what I believe will happen in the world. I think most of the world will be legal within the next 7 years. But this is my opinion, and not advice to no, this is my opinion. So I don't know if that will actually happen. So on March 13th, the stock rose all the way. I'm surprised that news was released on March 13th, but the stock pulled back a little bit on March 14th. And then after that, it pumped itself up all the way to around $9.96 before pulling back all the way down. It actually lasted about 2 months, hovering around $9, because they were hoping that within the 2 months, Aurora would come up with some news and the stock would go back up. But there was no news, there was nothing, and there was more pressure in the MJ space, and all the other stocks started declining. So Aurora followed, and it kept going down around here. And I was like saying that, get out of Aurora, it's going to crash. I think it's going to head back down to like, I said back then, I think it was 7 or 8 Canadian dollars, so that would be around $6 US. But to my surprise, it just kept going down and down and down. I didn't buy, I just took profits, and then it just kept going down, and it went all the way down to $3.60 US. Then it crashed, and now the stock price is $2 US. I think at this price, it serves a really high reward. The risk is, yes, it could go down below $1, but I don't really think it will, because if Aurora goes down to $1, then Aphria has to go down to like $3 US to match Aurora, because I don't think Aurora deserves to be less valuable than, I think Aurora should have a higher market cap than Aphria, but that's my opinion. Now, and I don't think Nelson Peltz is just going to be like, oh, see you later, stock price is down to $2 US. I don't care about your company anymore. I really don't think that is the scenario. And on November 15th, 2019, Michael Singer came out on CNBC talking about Nelson Peltz. I'm going to be playing a little bit of this video, and then I'll talk about it.
Business into the 2020 calendar year.
Now, Michael, you mentioned the partnership with Nelson Peltz. It's about 6 months old now. How is that shaping up? And, in terms of getting additional partnerships in the consumer world to strengthen your business?
So great question. Nelson continues to be very active with us and helping us in a number of discussions we have with these global CPG companies. It's actually all part of a U.S. strategy for us. We see the U.S. as an opportunity for us to use as a platform to really grow, not just in the U.S., but in this kind of the CPG world globally. And Nelson, with his connections and obviously his help in helping us sort of navigate through multiple discussions with multiple partners in different industry verticals, we're confident that when we do make an announcement about how we see and how we're going to enter the U.S. market, it's going to tie together the numerous discussions we have with Nelson's help with a lot of these sort of mature CPG companies and how we're going to be able to leverage that in different industry verticals going forward. So we're very excited about an announcement when we're ready to do so.
How close are you in turning some of those discussions into actual announcements, though?
Look, we haven't provided any guidance, but because we're talking to numerous partners in different industry verticals, we want to make sure that when we do announce it, it is clear to the market where, the direction we're going. And again, we're going to use the U.S. as an opportunity as a platform, if you want, for us to really sort of explore and continue to develop out these CPG opportunities on a global scale.
Yesterday, we had the CEO of Canopy join us, expressing similar frustrations with the lack of growth in outlets that you just referred to.
So, as you can see, as what he was talking about, obviously, Aurora still has plans with Nelson Peltz, unless Michael Singer just came out on CNBC and just completely lied and, tell investors that, we still have a plan with Nelson Peltz, but really in the background they don't. I don't think Aurora is lying. I honestly don't. I do think that sometime in the future, sometime in 2020, possibly 2021, Aurora is going to announce some kind of news with Nelson Peltz, and the stock price is going to ramp to the upside from that news. But when, of course, investors want it now because most people are impatient and they want things to happen right away and they want the stock price to recover. I honestly believe it's just relax and just think of this as an opportunity. But again, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. I think that stock price down here is, it's an opportunity. It could go down lower, which makes it even more of an opportunity. Like right down here is low risk, high opportunity in my opinion. But, that's just my opinion, not advice to anyone. So, you remember Jim Keller? As you read his biography, Jim Keller is a microprocess engineering, best known for his works at AMD and Apple. He led the architecture AMK8 microarchitecture and was involved in designing Athlon and Apple A4 and A5 processor. He was also the co-author of the Pacific x86 64 instructional set of hyper transport interconnect. So this guy's like a genius when it comes to semiconductor. He helped AMD in 2000 to make the 2006, which caused AMD stock to go from $7 all the way up to $39, but because Intel was playing dirty and AMD was screwing up in certain aspect of their business, the stock crashed all the way down to $2. And then the stock, bounced back to around $9, traded sideways for like through 2 years, and then it crashed again to $2, and then it recovered to around around here is when I bought into AMD because I heard of the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 using the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One using AMD's new processor, and I bought it in here. The stock recovered to around $4. I thought that AMD was going to continue to move to the upside, and then AMD was around 2013. AMD was saying that they hired Jim Keller to make the Zen architecture to compete with Intel. And, it took years. It took years of development. But, AMD, so it was just trading sideways for a while, and the business was struggling. And then the CEO that was at the time, Rory Reid, he was bad at his job, and he made a bunch of wrong decisions. And the stock crashed all the way down. And then he got fired, and he got replaced by Dr. Lisa Su. And then the stock crashed all the way down to around below $1 US. I saw that, and I saw it was an opportunity. I was saying that AMD is not going to go bankrupt. A lot of people will say, a lot of articles online were saying AMD has so much debt, they're going to get bought out, they're going to go bankrupt in the next couple years, blah, blah, blah. But did it happen? No. AMD came out with the Zen architecture, and what happened? The stock price is now at $48.60. Of course, I think that history will repeat itself. I think AMD will go, I think AMD will go all the way up to $50 or $60, and then at a certain point, I think it's going to collapse on itself and it's going to go back down. Because why? AMD hired Jim Keller to basically, make them an architecture. And then when Intel has a competitive product, I think AMD is going to collapse and fall back down to around, maybe $8 US, maybe possibly even, around $8 to $13 US. And then at that point, it's up to AMD to see if they can be competitive with Intel's new architecture. But that's how I see things progress in the future. But who knows? We'll see what happens. This could be years into the making. It took AMD years from 2006 all the way to 2009 to crash to $2.07 US. So it's gonna take a couple years for it to go back down. But I think eventually it's going to collapse on itself. And then people are going, so, when that collapse happened, I would say clear of AMD and find areas to short it. But again, that is, my opinion only. We'll see what happens. And then you also got to remember, Aurora has a huge short position on it. 155.9 million shares. And if this was ever to be covered, I think, Aurora could at least easily go back to $5-6 US. But again, that's my opinion. I don't know if these short sellers will ever cover. They will have to cover eventually, but we'll see what happens. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this content. Give me a thumbs up. It helps my channel grow. Subscribe for future updates, and have a great day. Bye.